We're a hospitality and education farm with families coming to harvest their own berries, pumpkins, vegetables, and cut their own Christmas trees. We try to make people feel welcome and to learn things while they're here. My great-great-grandfather came over from Ireland, got things started here in the 1850s. Each generation carried on with cattle. His grandson, generation 3, was potatoes and started dairy. And my dad loved forestry and started Christmas trees, and I loved vegetables and strawberries. We started that. Our son Jamie comes back from Cornell in love with wine and vineyards, so now we have vineyards.
Our farm is very diversified, and I think over the years we've just kind of changed and been able to grow what our community wants.
We're sort of an embassy farm on the edge of the metropolis, and we want people to leave here with a better understanding of the land and where their food comes from.
I first got to know Terry and the Jones family farms back in the 90s when I worked for USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service, and coming out here and seeing some of the kinds of things that they were doing and how they were evolving the business, not only for multiple business streams, but also this whole idea that, that the customers harvest the crops for them.
Harvest your own or pick your own has definitely evolved over time. It's more an experience with the family. Our hope is that when our guests come to the farm, as they see an authentic farm, they get to see not only if they're picking strawberries in June, they're going to see possibly the pumpkins that are just starting to sprout. They'll see cover crops being planted. They'll see vineyards that are just getting underway, growing, Christmas trees. So whatever season they're seeing, they're just seeing the farm in basically the different phases of growth. And I just think that's really important because, especially in our part of the world, where unfortunately there is not a lot of farmland left, we're kind of this little oasis that allows people to actually see what agriculture is.
It became obvious to us as suburban growth came into being here that we had a finite window of opportunity to expand our production acreage. And we quickly realized that our income from crops wasn't going to allow us to keep purchasing land. We were fortunate. Connecticut had one of the earliest farmland protection programs, and we realized that this was a way to leverage the value of our land by offering it for preservation by the sale of development rights. We basically began to put parts of the farm into the preservation program and use the revenues to buy other land. We've actually preserved over 1,500 acres, and the city of Shelton has been a very ag-friendly community, and they've helped us establish buffers. We've protected a lot of farmland and open space, which has been a great asset to the community.
I think the conservation practices we use on the farm are always kind of focused on improving soil health and also getting a better diversity of the wildlife that's going to help us be better farmers. Specifically, I would say insect pollinators. In terms of building soil health, it's mainly about crop rotations and also growing a lot of different cover crops and trying to figure out which ones do the best with the different crops that we're growing. It's all basically focused on increasing the organic matter of the soil. Pretty much all of our fields we try to grow winter rye for covering all of our fields during the winter months, and then we can use that crop, either cut it and bale it for strawberry mulch, or we have a no-till pumpkin system where we roll that rye down and then direct seed our pumpkins right into it. Our summer cover crops include buckwheat, sorghum Sudan grass, we call it Sudax. We're also starting to look at some others, incorporating some peas and oats, and even a new one, sun hemp, and blending those together to really build that soil in the summer months before we turn it into the ground and plant the winter rye for the winter.
Terry was doing what we would call now soil health practices before a lot of people were doing soil health practices. And you'll notice all these strips are across the slope because it slows down the path of water across the landscape and prevents erosion. Overall, it's a very complex operation with a lot of different components to it, and the Jones family are ambassadors for agriculture.
It was very humbling and exciting to learn we'd won the Leopold Conservation Award.
And to think that we were one farm out of the thousands of farms in New England to be selected for this award, I just thought it was very humbling.
It was just the honor of a lifetime, and looking forward to having it inspire future generations